back to our channel, or welcome if you are new. This channel is called ASD by the Sea, and we literally mix those two things together, ASD and the sea. So with our channel you will get lots of ASD content all about Max, our son, and Jake, my husband, both who are on the spectrum, and lots of sea sighting, sailing, everything sea related. This video is our Echolalia and Palilalia update 1 year later. We're going to go through the original video. If you haven't seen the original part 1 of the Echolalia and Palilalia video, it's really popular. I'll link it below or up here, so make sure you check that one out if you haven't seen it already. So what we're going to do is we are going to just watch some clips and I'll give you an update as we go through. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about our journey with ASD and in particular our experience of Echolalia and Palilalia. Oh my goodness, so first of all, wow, have I changed? Oh my goodness. So I clearly used to wear loads of makeup and make sure that my hair was perfect before I came on camera. Now I'm well versed in the world of YouTube. I am me. So yeah, I have my hair shoved up and I've actually stopped wearing makeup completely non-related to this video, but due to COVID-19 I just kind of stopped when I became, you know, stuck at home and started working from home, and I've never really started again. I much prefer the fresh face look, and yeah, looking at that video of me, I think I definitely prefer not trying that hard. My goodness, my mascara is actually running under my eyes. That's tragic. So Echolalia is, it almost says what it is in the name. It's like having an echo when you speak. So for us, the way we first discovered Echolalia, it was before Max was diagnosed with ASD, before we even had an inkling that he had ASD. We knew that he had a speech delay and we were exploring why his speech was delayed. And it was at the time that we were in a really bad place with everything. We didn't know what was going on. We had people like friends and family and colleagues basically telling us that Max was just naughty and we needed to be more strict with him, which we used to just be completely baffled by, because if we were any more strict with Max, we honestly, it would have been child abuse. There is, you know, it would have been physical. That is the only other way. We tried everything, and it turns out that the reason that this strict parenting, you know, didn't work is because he's autistic. Wow, I was clearly very angry then. We certainly did have lots of unwanted comments and suggestions that were not helpful. If you are going through something very similar and you do get the comments where people just don't get it, it does get better. It does get a lot better. People do stop asking those questions. Yeah, I think people just tend to understand the more they see, and the more they see you coping with your child and putting different things into place, and you know, as they hear about different therapies they go to in schools and everything else that comes with having an ASD diagnosis, yeah, people do tend to just get over themselves and stop trying to fix your child. Well, that's our experience anyway. I can't say that will be the case for everyone, because I guess there are some people that are just like that. But thankfully for us, we definitely have stopped having those comments and suggestions. I did make a video on our journey. It's a little bit emotional. I will link it up below, so go and check it out if you haven't seen that video already. I still recommend watching that video. I mean, you can see in this video how emotional I get just talking about it. I'm in such a better place now. I mean, just 1 year, I can't believe this is only a year ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. But the video that I made about our diagnosis journey, birth to diagnosis, yeah, I kind of let all of my emotions come out. So if you haven't seen it, I'll also link that up here. When you click these bars up here, by the way, just to let you know, it doesn't automatically take you to that video. You can still carry on watching this one. It just adds it to your watch next playlist. So give it a click. But during this time, that was when Max was his most echolalic. Basically, we would say things to him and try, you know, to almost want a yes or a no or just a nod or a head shake answer. But in return, we would get an echo of exactly what we had said to him. So if we said, Max, pick it up, he would look at us and say, pick it up. It was the first time he actually put words together. I remember that really well because Max didn't speak. He did speak, he spoke single words. And I remember we went to speech therapy and they were trying to give us picture cards and cues to get him to say single words, but his pronunciation was perfect and he could say single words, he just couldn't join them together. Eventually I think we got 2 words joined together and that was it, that was just those single 2 words. But I remember the echolalia, when that came about, we were just baffled by it because he couldn't say anything other, he couldn't say sentences at all, even though for his age he should have been able to string 4 or 5 words together. He couldn't, but he would repeat a sentence back to you that you had asked him. So you would say, would you like a drink? And he would say, would you like a drink? It completely baffled us. It was, yeah, echolalia really is an interesting thing. And yeah, if you are going through it, I completely understand. It's really frustrating because if an adult said the same thing, so if you asked me a question and I just repeated the question back to you without any, you know, structure to that sentence, it comes across as being really rude. So when, you know, a child is doing it and you have no idea why, it's, you know, it's a difficult thing to deal with. Yeah, and I do remember it being fascinating, scary and really frustrating all at once. Do you have a similar situation? Does your child just repeat everything you say back to you? Please leave us a comment, we'd love to know. Yeah, you're not alone. We're all in this together. And we thought we were getting somewhere with his speech because he was copying what we were saying. But that's because that's the only thing his brain could allow him to do. He didn't know how to choose his own words, so he would repeat what was said to him. We honestly thought it was him being naughty. I searched through loads of photos, videos, loads of hard drives, trying to find an example where Max was echolalic or palilalic even, and there aren't any. And the reason there aren't any videos of that is because we thought Max was being naughty, or we thought it was weird, so we deleted them, which makes me so upset because now we could have showed people, we could have helped other people, but we had no idea what this was until much later, and it's just such a shame that we didn't keep it. My goodness, I was emotional, wasn't I? I am still really gutted that we didn't keep any examples of Max. I did carry on looking and there are none. I think there are a couple of clips on our channel where he has done it very, very slightly in the background. And you know, it's really difficult to pick out unless you're, you know, really looking for it. But other than that, you know, from when he was 2 and 3, we don't have any of the footage, which, yeah, I'm really gutted about, because it could have been used, you know, for you guys. It really could have been such a helpful thing, just to, because I know what it feels like when your child is doing this, you know, this echolalic language, and you're thinking, is this normal? And that's probably why you're looking at this video on YouTube now. You're probably wondering, you know, is my child, you know, are there other people, other children that do this? And, you know, the answer is yes, yes they do, yes they do. And it's unusual, but it is also okay. You don't have to worry. I'm going to jump in here and just bring you up to date to, you know, September 2020. Max is no longer echolalic to the extent that he was. He very, very rarely copies what we say to him. It does still happen, but it's so random and it's very infrequent now. Thankfully he has developed language and he can speak. He does still very much need some speech therapy. He still gets things the wrong way round, and sometimes he gets really frustrated when he can't think of the words that he wants to say. He gets himself all a bit in a muddle, but he has grown out of the, you know, really echolalic language. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. It does get better, I promise. So after the echolalic, it did taper off. The more Max did start to speak and develop his own language, the echolalia did taper off. And then Jake said to me one day that Max is whispering under his breath, like copying his own words, and that, in a nutshell, is palilalia. He would say something like, "Go to the toilet, go to the toilet." He would then repeat what he was saying himself, but almost whisper it afterwards. And it was like he was trying to confirm to himself that he'd said the right thing. It was quite surreal, especially after we had moved on from the echolalic position. We'd moved on. Max was developing his language, and by now Max was diagnosed with ASD, so we did have a much better understanding of echolalia, but I had never heard of palilalia until Max started doing it. And I've later found out they do go hand in hand. So if you do have a child who is showing echolalic signs, or, you know, does have echolalia, you may find that later on they have palilalia, and perhaps vice versa. I'm not really sure if that's the typical way it manifests, but that's the way it certainly did for Max. He's still palilatic. He doesn't repeat his own words anymore. But very, very occasionally, a bit like the echolalia. He will, every now and then, he will repeat something that he said, but it's quite infrequent. But what he does now is he'll just wander around the house whispering to himself. He doesn't do it when we go near him, he stops. So we're not entirely sure of everything that he's saying. But a lot of what we have grasped is things that he's watched or read or learned. So, for example, Max is incredible at computers. He's just turned 9 just a few days ago, and he can code computer games from scratch because, yeah, he's amazing and we're really proud of that. But he will walk around the house and talk the script through in his head, which we find, I mean, we're kind of really proud of it because it's such an amazing thing to be able to do, you know, at 9 years old. Coding, you know, and scripting for me is, you know, well over my head. I understand how it works, but yeah, it's very, very clever. So yeah, he walks around the house, and I think that's very Palilalia, just, you know, whispering to himself things that are going on in his head. I will insert a clip here of him doing it. So I'm really pleased that we were able to actually get a clip for you to show you, yeah, him talking under his breath, and that is very much a very Palilalia thing to do. So in a nutshell, echolalia is where people repeat what you're saying, and Palilalia is where they repeat what they are saying shortly after these things have been said. If you do have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Please just leave them in the comments below. I'm certainly no expert. This is just our journey and the way it has presented to us. But like I say, if you do have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them. So 2020 update, as I've said, Max is very rarely echolalic now. He's still very much Palilalia. We don't really know when or how that will ever go, but I don't think it's the end of the world. The echolalia was certainly more of an issue for us in terms of communicating with Max. The Palilalia, it doesn't really affect anybody. He doesn't do it in front of other people. So for us, there's no real chance of him saying something that will offend somebody else for two reasons. One, he doesn't do it in front of other people, and two, he's probably one of the kindest people, you know, I've ever known. He wouldn't be rude about anybody anyway. So I think for now it is just the way it is. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It's been really interesting looking back to me and the situation from a year ago. There certainly is light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, looking back, I think, my goodness, we were in a right state. We're much better now. We are really, really, really enjoying Max. We have learned to control a lot of the negative side of ASD, and we are embracing as much as we can the really positive sides of ASD, and yeah, at the moment it's really good for us. We are enjoying life. So I hope this has helped. Please give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. If you are new, or if you're not new and you're not a subscriber, give us a subscribe and you will be notified when all of our new videos come up. There's going to be plenty of content about more ASD things, you know, all kinds of things that Max is up to. He will be starting speech therapy again, so we will do an update on that as and when we get the reports through, so stick around for those. And of course, we love the sea and we are on a journey to buy our first sailing yacht. so stick around for those videos as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.